we need to understand why surface area to volume ratio is important in determining how big a cell can get. So let's think about a cell. And here's our cell, and there's always going to be chemical reactions occurring in the cell in order to keep it alive, do homeostasis, metabolism, all that kind of stuff. Okay? So chemical reactions are happening within our cell. And in order for those chemical reactions to happen, they need to have substances coming in. Okay? And they are going to produce waste that needs to get out. Just like with us, okay, if we need energy to do what we need to do, homeostasis, metabolism, all that good stuff, we need to bring in food. Those are our substances we bring in, and then we eventually produce waste that we need to be able to get rid of. All of our cells are doing this. All cells do this. So the chemical reactions are related to the interior of the cell, okay, so inside the cell, and that is the volume. Okay, so the chemical reactions are related to the volume of our cell. Whereas these substances coming in and out, those are more related to the surface area because they are going through the surface of the cell. So movement of stuff in and out is related to surface area. The stuff that's happening inside is related to volume. As the volume of a cell increases, more stuff is going to need to come in. Okay? So if we were to increase the cell size, we would increase the amount of chemical reactions that need to happen. Think about it. A very small child doesn't need as much energy in the day as a full-grown adult because they're smaller, they're not burning as many calories, they don't need as much energy. Okay, so as the cell gets bigger, same thing. It's going to have more chemical reactions going, which means it's going to bring in more substances, which means it's going to produce more waste. Okay? And again, these things are related to this idea of surface area. The amount of chemical reactions related to volume, the amount of stuff in and out, surface area. Okay, so let's take a look at a more specific example from the experiment we did the other day. So we had some cells, okay, these agar blocks, and we had one that was 1 by 1 by 1, not 2. Okay, and then we had another block that, you know, we could say we doubled the size to 2 by 2 by 2, right? And so let's take a look at the measurements. We've got side length, we've got surface area, and we've got volume. Okay, so we've doubled the size of the cube, right? We've made it twice as big on either side. So the side length is 1 centimeter, and this one is 2 centimeters. The surface area on this one, length times width times 6 is going to be 6 centimeters squared, whereas this one, 2 times 2 is 4 times 6 is 24 centimeters squared. And the volume, 1 times 1 times 1, length times width times height, 1 centimeter cubed. Length times width times height is going to be 8 centimeters cubed. So, like I was saying, we have taken our cell, or our cube, and doubled its size. We've doubled the side length. So we've increased this 2 times, right? This has gone up 2 times. But what has happened to the surface area? We've gone from 6 to 24. That's gone up 4 times. Volume has gone up from 1 to 8. That's gone up 8 times. So the volume is 8 times as much in this cube than it is in this cube. So again, remember, we've got chemical reactions that happen inside of our cells. If this cell is doing just fine with this amount of volume and this amount of chemical reactions, if we were to double that cell's size to this one, we now need to increase the amount of chemical reactions happening according to the volume. And the volume is increased 8 times. So our amount of chemical reactions need to go up 8 times. Okay? So if this cell was bringing in, 1 unit of substance to do chemical reactions and getting rid of 1 unit of waste from those chemical reactions, this one's going to need 8 times that amount. Its surface area, though, has only increased 4 times. So it can only bring in 4 times the amount of stuff, and it can only get rid of 4 times the amount of stuff, which is not enough to take care of something that has gone up 8 times in its volume. So you can see that as the cell size gets bigger, the surface area and the volume do not increase at the same rate, because if you look, we're talking about centimeters squared versus centimeters cubed. So this one, the volume is always going to increase a lot faster than that surface area. And if there's not enough space for this stuff to come in, then that cell's not going to be very efficient at being able to do its chemical reactions. It won't get enough substances to do the reactions, and it won't have enough space to get rid of the waste that's produced. So if we look at the surface area to volume ratio now, because that's a really important factor. Okay? So surface area to volume ratio, we simply take the surface area divided by the volume. So surface area to volume ratio of this guy equals 6. 6 over 1 equals surface area to volume ratio of 6. Surface area to volume ratio of this one is 24 over 8, which gives us 3. So as we can see, the smaller the cell, the higher the surface area to volume ratio. So for cells to be very efficient, they need to have a high surface area to volume ratio, which allows plenty of substances to come in and plenty of waste to get out to help support the chemical reactions that are occurring within the volume of that particular cell.